The court case between 23XI Racing and Front Row Motorsports against NASCAR has just turned even more intense. The situation is centered on something called a charter, which gives teams the right to compete in all Cup Series races and guarantees them a certain amount of prize money. Without a charter, teams must qualify to enter races and earn less money. The current issue is about whether or not NASCAR can stop teams from suing them after signing a charter agreement. So, let's find out in today's episode about some major courtroom drama and the future of NASCAR teams. In late 2024, during the offseason before the 2025 NASCAR Cup Series began, 23XI Racing and Front Row Motorsports were given a big win in court. A judge named Kenneth Bell ruled that the two teams could continue to race with their charters through all of 2025. This meant they could use 3 charters each, giving them strong financial support and guaranteed entry into all races. They were also allowed to complete the purchase of extra charters from Stewart-Haas Racing, another racing team. So together, they were using 6 charters during the 2025 season, 3 for 23XI and 3 for Front Row. The problem started with a part of the charter agreement that NASCAR added in 2025. This part was called a release clause, or the "you can't sue us" clause. It said that if a team signed the agreement, they gave up their right to sue NASCAR. Judge Bell said this was not fair. He believed that this rule broke antitrust laws, which are laws meant to stop companies from acting like monopolies or controlling everything in an unfair way. Because of that, he gave the teams what's called a preliminary injunction. That's a legal decision that temporarily lets the teams keep using their charters while the bigger legal battle continues. Now in May of 2025, we're 11 races into the NASCAR season, and the legal fight is heating up again. Recently, there was a new hearing where NASCAR appealed the earlier decision. This means NASCAR asked another group of judges to look at the decision and possibly change it. This hearing was not about the entire antitrust case. It was only about the preliminary injunction and whether that "you can't sue us" clause is legal or not. In this hearing, NASCAR's lawyer, Chris Yates, said that clauses like the "you can't sue us" part have existed in other agreements before and have not been seen as illegal. He argued that NASCAR was not doing anything wrong by including it. On the other hand, the lawyer for the racing teams, Jeffrey Kessler, said that if the charters were taken away, it would cause major harm to the teams. He said that driver and sponsor contracts are tied directly to having a charter. If the teams lose their charters, they may lose drivers, sponsors, and a lot of money. The 3 judges in the case asked a lot of hard questions, especially to the racing team's lawyer. They pointed out that the teams seemed to want both things at once. They didn't sign the new agreement because they disagreed with it, and they sued NASCAR, but at the same time they wanted to keep using the charters. The judges said this was like having your cake and eating it too. In their opinion, the teams should have either signed the charter and given up the right to sue, or refused to sign and accepted the risk of not having a charter. The judges have not made a final decision yet. That could happen in the next few days or weeks. But many people who listen to the 45-minute hearing think that the judges are likely to side with NASCAR. If the judges decide to overturn the preliminary injunction, it would be a big problem for 23XI and Front Row Motorsports. The 6 charters they're using might be taken away. They could go back to Stewart-Haas Racing or to NASCAR. Without charters, both teams would have to race as open teams. That means they would get less money and they would have to qualify for each race instead of being guaranteed a spot. In NASCAR, only 40 cars are allowed to race each weekend. If more than 40 cars show up, the open teams have to compete for a limited number of spots. This creates more risk. Also, chartered teams get bigger payouts from prize money and sponsorship deals. Losing their charters would mean a big drop in income for the teams. There's also the question of what happens to the drivers. One important name is Tyler Reddick. Court documents say his contract is tied to the team having a charter. If the charter goes away, the team may be breaking the contract. Tyler may not leave in the middle of the season, but it could create serious problems for the 2026 season. Sponsors also prefer to work with chartered teams, so their contracts might be affected as well. This legal fight has been building for a while. Teams have said that NASCAR has too much control and that the charter system is unfair. NASCAR argues that the system gives teams stability and protects the value of charters. A charter is now worth millions of dollars. For example, some have been sold for more than $25 million. That's why teams want to protect them and keep using them. The lawyer for 23XI in Front Row, Jeffrey Kessler, also warned the judges that overturning the injunction in the middle of the season could cause chaos in the NASCAR Cup Series. He reminded them that the injunction only lasts until November of 2024 and the full trial is set for December. A big part of the court's decision might depend on a clause in NASCAR's rules. This clause says that teams agree not to sue NASCAR. The release clause could be a key part of whether the injunction stays or not. If the judges think the teams gave up their right to sue, they may side with NASCAR. While all this is going on, racing still continues. This weekend, the NASCAR Cup Series goes to Kansas Speedway. We're excited because both Kansas races in 2023 were exciting, especially the spring race that ended with a dramatic photo finish, nearly 4 cars crossing the line together. This kind of close racing keeps fans interested, even when legal battles are happening off the track. One of the young drivers to watch this weekend is Corey Heim. He's 22 years old and will be racing in the Cup Series for 23XI Racing in car number 67. He's also racing in the Truck Series, where he's currently leading the standings by 46 points. In just 8 truck races this year, he already has 3 wins and an average finish of 5.8. This weekend will be Corey Heim's 4th Cup Series start. Last year he raced once in the Cup Series and finished 22nd. Heim's presence brings more attention to 23XI Racing. The team now has 3 full-time Cup drivers: Bubba Wallace, Tyler Reddick, and rookie Riley Herbst. It'll be interesting to see how Heim compares to Herbst, since both are young drivers with something to prove. Some fans think Heim has more potential, but Herbst has more Cup experience for now. Another driver gaining attention is Ricky Stenhouse Jr. After 11 races in the 2024 season, he's 15th in the Cup Series standings. His average finish is 17th. That's not amazing, but for a small team like Hayek Motorsports, it's quite good. Last year he won the Daytona 500, but this year he hasn't won yet. Still, he's been consistent and has finished every race so far. That's surprising for Stenhouse, who is known for driving aggressively and sometimes getting into crashes. His best finish recently was 6th place at Texas Motor Speedway. Many people are wondering if Stenhouse could make the playoffs again this year, especially if he gets another strong result at a superspeedway like Daytona or Talladega. For now, teams like 23XI and Front Row are holding on, trying to race as usual, but their future is not secure. If they lose the charters, they may have to downsize or even leave the sport. Now, don't hesitate to comment down your thoughts on this situation. And while you're down there, make sure to hit that subscribe button as well.